Hey guys, it's Ashes. I decided to try something different where I voiced over my drawing video as opposed to putting some background music. So let me know what you think, if this is more interesting and if you prefer this to the background music. Obviously it's a little bit easier with the background music just because I don't have to take the time to record the audio, but I do want to try to make my videos a bit better, so if you prefer this, then I might do this more often. So I decided to do 4th of July, and, well, it's kind of on the schedule. There's not a lot of holidays, so I kind of got to work with what I get. I mean, there are, but you know what I mean. So, since it's been a while, and I missed, like, Mother's Day and Father's Day. Real quick, I do have to apologize if you can hear my laptop's fan. I don't know if it's the space I'm in, but I don't think it is. I think it's just that my laptop has a loud fan, and I can't really do much about it at the moment. Especially since I'm not great with audio editing, so I wouldn't be able to figure out a way to get rid of it. But, so, hopefully it's not that annoying. So, I think we're getting close to being done with the sketch stage by now. Originally I had been sketching her out in my sketchbook because I had a hard time working out how she'd look. I know that a lot of times too I have an easier time drawing in a sketchbook than I do drawing digitally, just because, one, you draw like that a lot before you start working digitally. You'll have had a sketchbook first. You have been drawing on paper, so naturally it's going to be a little bit easier because, like anything, it's all about practice, and I haven't put as much practice in as I've done over the span of my lifetime drawing on paper. But sorry, I lose my train of thought a lot, so you might hear me like trail off randomly. Where was I? I don't know, but I know we're at the lining stage, which I try to be a little bit easier on myself about lining, because it's very easy to get very nitpicky, and I do that a lot, where you can see I do like a lot of the undo, redo, or not redo, but undo, and then redraw it again and again and again until I get something that I like. But when it comes to certain pens, it's sometimes easier to make sure that you get the one clean line as opposed to making it up of smaller lines. So it kind of depends on how you break up the lining. Yeah, I had to readjust her eyes because it looked fine when I was doing the sketch, but then I was starting to line it and it looked off. Oh, one thing I realized now that I'm looking back on this video is that I didn't flip the drawing. It's not good. But I guess since I'm not using it for anything that would require it to be able to be flipped, it's not that big of a deal. But that can help a lot. I don't know if I've shown myself doing that in the past or not. But as simple as just on this program, I think it's Clip Studio Paint. That's what it's called, right? Let me check. I can't open it right now. But I think it's called Clip Studio Paint. They have, and I mean, Photoshop has this function too. A lot of, programs have this function. And it's just, like a mirroring type deal. And it's really helpful as far as, figuring things out. Because sometimes it'll look fine in one direction, and then you flip it, and then it'll look completely, off. And then you end up fixing it and you flip it back again. You might make a few more adjustments and then you flip it back again, and then it ends up looking good both directions, and it just generally looks better. It's a lot easier to do that digitally than it is traditionally, but a lot of times people might just hold up their picture to a mirror and try to kind of work out some things, so it's just a little bit trickier is all. Going back to the sketch phase, you might have noticed that I was kind of flipping between having her in shorts and things like that. I had a lot of issues with designing clothing for her because I I wanted it to feel like 4th of July. And originally what I was doing was a little bit more casual, like, you know, say you go camping on the 4th of July and you go see the fireworks and stuff, you know, you get like a tank top type deal and some shorts. Although her stuff wasn't really a tank top. There was ones that had kind of the, like, kind of net type deal along, like, the chest, like upper chest, not like over the breast area. The breast area was like kind of still had that kind of heart shaped kind of neckline going on, which I think personally I find that to be like kind of a nice combo. You probably noticed, actually I used that in my Easter Bunny video, didn't I? I used something similar. And that was another issue. I didn't want to like have it like in a similar outfit to the last time. But eventually I was able to work out something that was a little bit more costume-y, because the last ones were all kind of costume-ish based, and I didn't want this to be too casual. I wanted it to, even though the style has kind of changed a little bit, I still wanted it to kind of feel like they went together. And then eventually I worked out this dress that I had sketched in the margins on my sketchbook, and it wound up working out better. Later on, I added the little, there you go, added the little stars along the belt, and then along the neckline I added them too, because I wanted it to, I didn't have that in my original sketch, in my sketchbook, but I realized that it would tie in better with the hat if I had that matching. And the hat is very much based on the whole Uncle Sam thing. Although I know the original design of Uncle Sam, the hat didn't have like all the red that's in it. But I noticed that a lot of costume versions of Uncle Sam do. And I felt like it looked more colorful that way, and I wanted to kind of add more color. The hair was also kind of based around the Uncle Sam thing, because Uncle Sam has the white hair. Although I didn't want to give her pure white hair, because then, one, I felt like it would feel like too much white. I wanted to kind of differentiate the hair from like the white that's in all the red, white, and blue. And I noticed that like one of the trends lately includes dyeing your hair like a kind of a whitish, silverish thing kind of color. Like, I know, Wes from Smosh Games has like kind of a white silver thing going on that he's dyed his hair. And I have some friends too that have, I have a couple Twitter friends that have dyed their hair that way. And it's a cool look, I think. And I think it helps with the whole like stigma for gray hairs. I've kind of went on a tangent again, didn't I? I don't know again. It's hard to tell. I've re-recorded this a few times because I'm not good at getting a good voiceover for this. I'm not good at talking for long periods of time. And I forgot to edit out the little tab out. Oh. I had to kind of I had to get a reference for sparklers because I don't use sparklers, so I'm not used to what they look like. But I think that these managed to turn out pretty okay, especially since, you see me doing it now. I think I duplicated the layer, and then I kind of messed with seeing what kind of adjustment layers there were, and see what they would do, and eventually I settled on, I think it's like an add glow, and I think it added kind of a nice kind of warm colors. It feels a little bit more like light. And speaking of light, now we switch to dark. This is where I was doing the shading, and shading was a little bit tricky because I had to think about, you always have to think about your light sources, and so like the sparklers aren't the only light source. I have like kind of just a generic light source coming from kind of front top left-ish, but because of the sparklers I have to kind of think, there's going to be less shadows in certain areas because of the fact that like, they're close to the upper body face region. I can't really add a ton of shadows to her face. So I worked a few things in. I mainly put the shadows around the legs because, the whole poofy skirt deal. Then I decided to add in a little bit of a glow because I wanted to, like a highlight, because I figure that the sparklers, they're going to give off some light. It would help to kind of, since there's not a lot of shadow, it'd be good to add more highlight to kind of offset that. So so it wouldn't feel so flat. And I think that it actually turned out pretty good looking. It had a little bit more visual interest than before. Excuse me. And oh, one thing I neglected to mention, I tried to make this girl's design a little bit bigger, I guess, than my other girls, because the other girls ended up kind of fairly skinny. Mainly because since this girl's representing, you know, the U.S. and we're known for being, well, we're known for being obese. This girl, I wouldn't really call her obese. She's just got a little bit of fat on her, which is not bad at all. Like, I'm not exactly, like, tiny. I'm not a stick. So I think it kind of helps to give this girl a little bit more meat, because she kind of represents what we're known for, but she still looks super cute. Like, I think this girl's adorable. And that's what I like about, you know, doing this holiday kind of challenge deal, that it helps me with working on character design. And, you know, in this case, I'm trying to work on something a little bit different than what I normally would do. And I think it turned out pretty good. I think I'm just about done here. And then we're going to get to the pan down so you can see a little bit closer. So thanks for watching. Remember to let me know what you thought of the voiceover. And since I don't make a lot of videos regularly, I would suggest you subscribe, because then this way when I do make a video, you'll see it in, you know, your sub box. And that's it. I'm not really a big what's it called, like baiter, whatever it's called, but you know, do what you gotta do. That's it. I'll see you guys